a penny, 1 cent, 1/100th of a dollar. It takes 100 of these to make up the most common form of payment known in America, the dollar bill. But what if one of these was defective? Then technically we would only have 99 functioning cents. Does anything seem wrong in this scenario? You see, 1 out of 100 healthy Americans have celiac disease. Samantha, a celiac disease patient, was once one of these defective pennies. She struggled with acid problems, an anorexia, bulimia mix, as well as neurological speech issues, most commonly known as apraxia. She lived the first 5 years of her life in turmoil because she couldn't eat without keeping anything down. This led to not having the desire to eat, which led to worsening acid issues and speech problems. All of this led to a more concerning issue, anxiety. In turn, her doctor recommended her see a gastrointestinal specialist to assist, mostly thinking about the acid. He ended up testing her for celiac disease nearly immediately. The results came back and she found out she had classic celiac and was quickly transitioned to a completely gluten-free diet. She now thoroughly enjoys eating without it giving her a rock in her belly and making her feel ill. And the best part is, she's no longer one of these defective pennies. You see, celiac is a real disorder that may not always be physically seen, but physically and mentally and emotionally affects an individual's life. Today, I'd like to explore what celiac disease actually is, covering symptoms of it and determining its diagnosis. I'd also like to cover the treatment of celiac, also destigmatizing the main treatment option. And the third thing I'd like to give you is a couple of statistics, just so you can keep it in mind as you can be more socially aware. So I believe I have the credibility to speak about this topic because I myself am a celiac patient. Though I'm completely normal now, life was originally kind of a struggle. I will remain objective throughout this presentation, however I do believe it is helpful to have a real person with this very real disease in front of you. So what exactly is celiac disease? According to a 2005 report by the Chicago Medicine Division, it is an inherited autoimmune disorder that affects the digestive process of the small intestine. When an individual consumes gluten, a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye, the person's immune system goes into attack mode. The body attacks the small intestine and prevents itself from absorbing other nutrients that may be present along with the gluten, because the gluten itself is the enemy. When I say attack, I mean the small intestine's villi becomes little nubs versus having a long jellyfish tentacle-like quality. Now, it's great to know how celiac works, but how can somebody tell if they have it, considering it's inside of you? Everybody can be very hard to be diagnosed because it affects everyone differently. According to the Beyond Celiac organization, there are over 300 symptoms which can occur in the digestive system or throughout the body. Though they are widely spread out, the symptoms can kind of be broken down into 2 categories: first degree or classic celiac, and second degree or non-classic. A few of the first degree classic symptoms are IBS, throwing up and not being able to keep food down, acid issues. Some of the second degree are bad breath, sleep deprivation. So these are prime examples of everyday issues that people face. They write them off as having eaten something that doesn't agree with them or not getting enough sleep. But it goes to show you how celiac is an invisible foe that's constantly affecting our lives without anybody ever really knowing what's going on. And you officially determine if you have celiac disease or not, obviously with a doctor, but the American Association of Clinical Chemistry said in a 2018 article that there are 2 diagnosis steps. The first is to take a blood antibody test. The most common is a TTG. It's taken using a blood removal through your arm, and then it's sent off to a lab. The results come back numbered 1 to 100. If you're between 1 and 5, you typically do not have celiac disease, but if it is 6 through 100, up to 100 plus, you most likely do. However, there is a second step there to be sure there's a safety net, and that is an intestinal scope. They put you under anesthesia, you go in and they check your villi basically. And then the next step is treating celiac if you are diagnosed with having as such. And according to the Celiac Disease Foundation, the treatment for celiac is a lifelong adherence to a gluten-free lifestyle. This is currently the only treatment on the market. There is no miracle drug or type of physical therapy for it. The article goes on to address how there are absolutely no cheat days. It is a lifestyle, and every time that you cheat or move away from that diet, from the lifestyle, you are putting yourself at risk for hospitalization and eventually possibly death. Avoiding cross-contamination is also key because it can cause acute pain and, again, severe illness. The thing is, what if you just want to leave celiac untreated? You just don't care, it's affecting your life too much. According to a 2009 story in Everyday Health, if celiac is left untreated, other disorders can arise. These may include infertility, reduced bone density, neurological disorders, and some cancers. Other autoimmune disorders and diseases may also become present. The other thing is, too, your life may not be fully enjoyed. Time wasted from being with those that you love and enjoy time with is then being spent in the bathroom, in bed, at the doctor. This is a prime example of how celiac directly affects a person's physical conditions, while indirectly playing with emotions and mental health. So, this is great information, but how is it applicable on a large scale? The Chicago Medical Department says that in America alone, 1 in 100 healthy Americans have it. That's healthy. If you have any other type of autoimmune disorder, you are more likely to have it. This is over 3 million people in the United States alone, not including worldwide. It's 1% of our population. The sad thing is, though, 83% of the population is left undiagnosed or misdiagnosed for something else like just infertility or cancer. There are also gender effects. Celiac can affect males and females of all genders and races alike. However, women are 3 times more likely to have celiac disease than men. So, as you can see, celiac is a real disorder that may not always be physically seen, but can physically, mentally, and emotionally affect an individual's life. I hope you have gained a better understanding of what celiac is, its singular treatment, and how celiac largely affects the population. At an 83% rate of undiagnosed or misdiagnosis, it's just not acceptable. However, it is up to each one of us to take a step to take hold of our own lives. One of the most impactful things my celiac disease patient interviewee said that she was now free to enjoy her life. She now has purpose and can fulfill her hopes and dreams. So my question is to you, wouldn't you want to know if you're a defective penny so that you can soon be moved right back into a lively place in the circulation of life? Thank you.